It's February, it's cold, but Valentine's Day is looming, and I thought it would be fun to do a Valentine's Day specific perfume video. I'm not sure I've done one of these before. My version of Valentine's Day perfume tends to be my sweetest, girliest, cutest, pinkest, that kind of thing. So I will have to do a whole nother video for perfumes that I find sexy to wear, and my sexy perfumes, but this is very much a fun video about things that I would choose to wear on Valentine's Day or Valentine's night, wherever you do your kind of dates or fun times. So I'm going to start with the house that I think is not really talked about as being like a man killer house, but genuinely I find that most of the perfumes that men actually comment on when I'm wearing them are from this particular house. So let's start by talking about Lolita Lempicka. So I haven't chosen what I find to be the sexiest of all the Lolita Lempickas, which is Le Parfum. What I've gone for is the one that is, to me, a little bit less complex, but even sweeter and more fruity. So this is Lolita Lempicka. This is Mon Premier. I've got a tester bottle, which is why it's got this Zara lid on it, actually. But this is a very sweet, syrupy, delicious juice. And I've had a number of men tell me that this one's delicious. So it's a much simplified version of its big, sexy sister. So Mon Premier has notes of cherry, star anise and ivy in the top, mid notes of licorice, violet, orris and amaryllis in the mid, base notes of praline, vanilla, tonka bean, musk and vetiver. Now, unlike Le Parfum or the very original Lolita Lempicka, this one has less of those spices and less of what is a slightly animalic musk, a little bit less of the violet, and what it's amped up in is cherry, very syrupy cherry, and that praline. This is a very sweet, girly cherry perfume that, this is a man killer perfume. Truly it is. So I really recommend this one because it's even girlier than the original. Like I said, it's a little bit less challenging to wear. You get a little bit less of the kind of licorice and anise, and a little bit less of that musk. But it's also much more affordable. You can find Mon Premier for way cheaper than you can get Le Parfum. So I think that this is a really good, affordable, cute perfume. But we're going to stick with Lolita Lempicka because I've got a few that really I do think are perfect for Valentine's Day. So the other one, and my husband really loves this one, and I've had compliments from other men on this one. This is Sweet. So this is Lolita Lempicka Sweet, another cherry perfume. Men do seem to like cherry, and I understand why, because I think it's a very girly, pretty scent, and it's not often too sickly, not for me anyway. So Sweet is sour cherry and sugar in the top, mid notes of cacao, iris and angelica, and then base notes of musk and cashmere wood. Sweet is, it almost smells like a cherry chapstick, but like a more syrupy and chocolate tinged cherry chapstick. It's so girly, it's so sweet, it's so pretty, it's just so fun to wear, and it's an absolute winner. I think it's just so beautiful. I really love wearing this one. It's so fun, and again, you can get this for an absolute steal. So the flanker of Sweet is heading into absolute insanity when it comes to the kind of super girly fruity smell. So Sweet, which comes in an opaque red bottle with a kind of slightly pink tinge. So Sweet is a bit fresher, it's a bit lighter, it's not quite as syrupy, it's still very sugary sweet, but it's not that kind of thick sweetness that you get with the original Sweet, because this is a little bit more floral, and there's raspberry leaf and mandarin orange in the top. So this one, I think this kind of smells a bit like Haribo, like a kind of sugary, sour, cherry and raspberry Haribo, but then it's got this beautiful gentle sweetness. So the full set of notes of raspberry leaf, sour cherry and mandarin orange in the top, Iris, Rose and Angelica in the mid. Base notes are musk, cashmerean and amberwood. But it's gentle, it's sweet, it's so playful, this perfume. And I just think it's just so pretty. And actually, making this video has reminded me I need to wear this one again, because I do often reach for Lolita Lempicka, the original, and Mon Premier, but I kind of forget about So Sweet, even though it is... I mean, it just brings me such joy. It makes me smile. It's got a real sherbety quality, which I find very, very fun. Also an absolute steal, a beautiful perfume. The last one is a Lolita Lempicka, but this is a dupe because they don't make this perfume anymore, which is a real, real shame. And this is from Perfume Parlour, which is a UK dupe brand. So Perfume Parlour, they just do really nice dupes, full stop. But this is El de Lolita Lempicka, called Bordeaux 2, if you can see. And this is a really interesting and cool, sweet, lemony vanilla perfume. Now, those are really fashionable at the moment, obviously, but some of them fall a bit flat to me because they're just not particularly interesting. And the one that I find the most interesting is very expensive. So I like Lyra, and this is compared to Lyra, and they smell very, very, very similar. But obviously, Xerjoff prices, super, super high. Whereas, I mean, this is a dupe house, so I think you can get these for under a tenner for like a 30ml or a 13ml. In fact, I think this was about £8.50 for a 13ml, and they're quite strong. But this is very, very similar, but it has a slightly interesting note because it's got Immortelle in it. But it's got bitter orange and bergamot in the top. It's got cinnamon, Immortelle and musk in the mid. And then it's got vanilla, tonka bean and sandalwood in the base. And it just is like... It's so girly. It's really got a very slight gourmand touch to it. There's a slight C note there, but it is a gentle, kind of delicious, sort of citrus vanilla with just a little bit of spiciness that makes it interesting. And I do think that this is a lovely girly scent that I think men will really, really enjoy, or, you know, women. I think for any kind of date night, any kind of Valentine's Day, this is super, super cute. So sticking with the kind of citrusy, vanilla-y scents, although this one is more citrus and almond. This is Space Girl from Lush. It's getting to cut the top off because they're such big, big bottles. So this body spray is grapefruit, almond and bergamot, and honestly, it has the Lush DNA for sure. Ooh, let's spray this out. It has a sherbety citrus note, and then a creamy, sweet, vanilla-y almond. It smells like you've had a shower with something that smells like a literal citrus cake. So it's so pretty. It's, again, very playful, really fun, and it's just a really nice one. I really, really like Space Girl from Lush. I think this is such a good body spray. Surprisingly strong for a body spray, as a lot of the Lush body sprays are. And while we're on Lush, this, I think, is so beautiful. This is one of their absolute classics. It's American Cream. Some people describe this as a strawberry milkshake. I don't think it smells like strawberries. I don't think it smells like a milkshake. What I get from this guy is very much a tiny bit of lavender, a little bit of rose, a bit of iris, some clary sage, and they all those notes, they smell like they have been mashed up and crystallized in sugar and then sprinkled all over the top of a white fondant icing. This smells so pink to me, it just smells like a Barbie would, and it is just so sugary, girly, but it's still kind of slightly clean smelling because it has that Lush DNA, but it's very, very sweet. It's slightly powdery. It's just really wonderful. And yeah, the notes that you see where it says like honey and things like that, that isn't what's actually in here, but it is like a slightly aromatic, slightly powdery, floral icing sugar vanilla. Like, that's how I would describe this. And I think it's extremely wearable. It's super beautiful. It's very strong, so it's perfect for this time of year. And I really love wearing this. I think it's one of their absolute best and most pink smelling scents of any of their products. So yeah, American Cream is just an absolute favourite of mine. We're going to stick to things that smell like Barbies now, because this one is quite famously a kind of Barbie scent. So this is Stella Pop from Stella McCartney. Actually supposed to be discontinued, but still relatively easy to find. And this really does make you smell like you're a beautiful Barbie doll. It's another one that totally smells pink, even though there's some quite interesting aromatic notes in here. So you've got tomato leaf, green mandarin and violet leaf in the top. The mid notes are tuberose, frangipani and violet. And then the base notes are musk, sandalwood and cedar. So this is the most floral thing I think probably I've shown you so far. But there's just something about it that smells like doll heads or something. So it's just got this kind of plastic fantastic vibe about it. And personally I get kind of a bubblegum tuberose, so it's very bubblegummy. And then this really pretty sweet violet notes. And it's just such a joy to wear. It's so pretty. It's really magical. A lovely soft sandalwood in here as well. Yeah, I wore this one for the after party of my wedding. That's how awesome and girly I think this one is. I really love this. Perfect for Valentine's. So now I've got something that's discontinued, but I know something I can suggest that smells just like it, so I decided to put it in anyway. Talking of sugary sweetness and violet, so you'll notice there's actually quite a few violet perfumes here, because I do think that when you get the really sweet ones, they're very girly and really attractive. So this is Periwinkle and Iris from Vera Wang's Embrace range. You might still be able to get this, but I think they're well out of production by now. I have again, this was a tester bottle, so I've got a different cap on mine. They're normally square. But I love this perfume. It's so girly. It literally, if you look at the colour, it's got this beautiful colour. You could totally wear this to a wedding or something, but I do think this is a perfect kind of perfume for Valentine's Day. So the notes here are bergamot and mandarin orange in the top, iris, violet, periwinkle and jasmine in the mid, and then the base notes are whipped cream, sugar, vanilla and benzoin. So this is very sweet. There is a lot of sugar here, way more sugar than there is vanilla. But the whipped cream is obvious, and this is, to me, far less periwinkle and jasmine. Not that periwinkle I don't think necessarily has a smell, but violet and iris. This is violet, iris, whipped cream and sugar. And I think the benzoin's warming that up a little bit, giving it a very tiny hint of spice. You do get the citruses when you first spray it, but honestly, it's mainly a delicious sugariness. But I'll just mention it quickly. A great alternative to this, because I smelt it and it felt just like, I sprayed it on my skin, it was just like wearing periwinkle and iris, is Sol de Janeiro's Cheirosa 59. So that's the one that's in the kind of purpley bottle. And the notes in that one are top notes of vanilla orchid, mid notes of sugar and violet, base notes of sandalwood. And it genuinely smells so much like this. It's crazy how similar they are. And that one is very sweet. It lasts really well considering it's a body spray, and it's a perfect alternative to this little guy that I've had for quite some years. Really beautiful though. Super girly. Perfect for a lovely date night. So I've got two Guess perfumes here, both from the Seductive range, which is very accurate. Now, I mean, look, this isn't going to be a surprise to anyone, because this is a classic that people talk about quite a lot when they're talking about good affordable perfumes. And it is a profile that's very recognisable, but this is my favourite version of it. So this is Guess Seductive Red. This perfume is a kind of Baccarat Rouge style perfume. Obviously, you could get something like Cloud, which has that coconutty feel, but personally, Ariana Grande's Cloud turns into just granulated sugar and chemicals on me. It just doesn't suit me. Whereas this one, this is a cherry and almond perfume. And as I said, cherry is one of my favourite girly perfume scents and, notes. So this one has cherry, almond and pink pepper in the top. It's got cherry blossom, violet and magnolia in the mid. Base notes are vanilla, tonka bean and sandalwood. You don't necessarily get loads of the florals here. There's just a hint. I don't really get magnolia, but there's a hint of cherry blossom, hint of violet. It's mainly cherry, almond, vanilla and tonka. And somehow it has that kind of cotton candy smell that you get in Baccarat Rouge. It's just so magical. I love this perfume. I have worn this out on dates. I just think it's so gorgeous. So the other one from this range is obviously wonderful, and I'd say this is a slightly more grown-up smell while still being very good for Valentine's. Oh yeah, I really love this, but I love the original more, but this is more about affordable perfume. So this is Guess Seductive Noir. And this one I think is inspired by Mon Guerlain. That's one of my all-time favourite perfumes. I have a lot of that range. But this is a really good affordable alternative to Mon Guerlain. So this one doesn't list lavender, and that's because the aromatics in here are sage instead of lavender, but you do still get the same overall effect. This is sage, bergamot and peony in the top, iris, jasmine, sambac, lily of the valley in the mid, and then vanilla, Haitian vetiver and velvet in the base. But it just is a kind of aromatic vanilla is essentially what this is. And I think it smells chic, grown up, sexy, and still a bit girly. So this is a really nice alternative if you want to smell... If you want to smell very feminine, but you don't necessarily want to smell like super childishly girly in a very obviously fruity way, this is the kind of thing that I would personally go for. I do wear my Mon Guerlains all the time, to be fair. So yeah, I think Guess Seductive Noir is an amazing value perfume. It's just really, really beautiful. So then we've got something which... I don't often see people talking about these perfumes, and some of them I've really hated from this particular brand, some I've really liked. This is the only one that I still own though. So this is Antonio Banderas Icon Splendide for her. So this is a delicious, juicy pear perfume, but it's a very sweet, juicy pear perfume. The way I would describe this one, it kind of smells like Donna Aqua by Valentino when I first spray it, which is a discontinued perfume that is extremely rare and very expensive to get your hands on. And then it dries down to smell a little bit like Yves Saint Laurent Manifesto, which is also a discontinued perfume, which is rare and expensive to get your hands on. So this is kind of like a mashup of those two things. And it essentially boils down to being a pear and praline perfume. It's super affordable. It's really girly. The full set of notes are pear, black pepper and tangerine in the top. Mid notes are peony, orange blossom and guaiacán. Guaiacán, maybe that is pronounced. Base notes praline, rose, sandalwood, vanilla and musk. And it's so fun. It's so sweet. It's really sugary, really girly. I do think there's way more praline here than there is vanilla. And I think the orange blossom here is what's giving it that kind of slightly creamy. It's not quite body lotiony, but it has that same kind of almost lotiony sweetness that you get in Manifesto, but it's got that delicious juicy pear like you get in Donna Aqua. And I think for the price, it's such a fun, super girly perfume. Really, really like this one. So that's Icon Splendide. So that's the flanker of the original Icon from Antonio Banderas. So another celeb perfume, because they're obviously so affordable. This here is Sabrina Carpenter Sweet Tooth, and this is a woody vanilla. That's how I describe this one. It's incredibly sweet. This is not for the faint of heart, because I'm smelling this now and I'm like, whoa, this is sweet. Possibly one of the sweetest things that I have in my collection. This is marshmallowy sweet though. Fully, fully, fully sweet. So this is marshmallow, chocolate, candied ginger and bergamot in the top, Madagascar, vanilla, coconut milk and jasmine in the mid, and then whipped cream, sugar, musk and cashmere wood in the base. If you want to smell like a full snack, this is the Valentine's Day perfume for you. Again, there's quite a range of these now, but I've smelt most of them, and I quite like the cherry one, but the others just aren't really for me. This one, I think, is an excellent alternative to something you can't really get in the UK, which is Philosophy Fresh Cream Warm Cashmere. That perfume is so similar to this, or I should say this, I'm pretty sure, is inspired by that one. It is almost identical, but in a way it smells a little bit less bitter. The wood in this one's a little bit less bitter, which is why I kept this and got rid of the Philosophy. But yeah, this is so girly. I mean, you can kind of see how dark the juice in this is. You can see that it's much darker on this bit than it is on the plastic cap. But yeah, this is, oh, that's sweet levels of craziness. So this is from Ulrich de Varens, and this is called Varens Sweet, and it is called Vanille Caramel, and that's exactly what it is. It is, again, crazy levels of sweetness here. This one, Very snacky, even more snacky because I think this one's slightly more gourmand even than Sweet Tooth, because there's not quite the same amount of woodiness here, although I'd say there is a very slight soapy coconut here. But there is, in the top notes, check this out, it's syrup, vanilla and sugar, and you really smell that syrup. It really smells like some kind of caramel toffee syrup. Middle notes, toffee, coconut and brown sugar. Base notes, vanilla, musk and tonka. I mean, it does dry down for that coconut and musk to give it just a touch of a soapy perfuminess. But it's mainly gourmand, this perfume. Like, it's crazy gourmand. And it is so sugary sweet. It's madness. But if you're going on a date and again you want to get munched up, if you want to be an absolute snack, this is amazing, because it kind of smells like some perfumes that are way more expensive. It has that extremely fashionable kind of vanilla caramel smell to it. You know, that super sugary thing that is just so popular. But it costs about, you know, it's well under a tenner for this bottle. So yeah, I think that one is a really good choice for Valentine's Day. And then the other from the same range that I'm very fond of myself, it really plays into my hands because I'm kind of less of a vanilla and caramel perfume person, and I much prefer things that are maybe a bit creamy. So this one, Varan Sweet, this is Peach Chantilly. So it's basically peaches and cream, and I'm not going to complain about peaches and cream. Specifically this one, peaches, ice cream and cream, which is awesome. So if I just remind myself of this, oh yeah, this is girly fruity yumminess, another gourmand. So this is top notes of ice cream and raspberry, and it really is a tart and juicy, lovely raspberry. The raspberry's not dissimilar to So Sweet from Lolita Lempicka, but then you have in the mid whipped cream, ice cream and peach, and the base notes sugar and vanilla. So I think this is kind of an easier version of the Comptoir Sud Pacifique Vanille Apricot. That one for me is so sweet that it almost sends me a bit crazy. My husband really likes it, but it's just so intensely sugary, vanillic and sweet. That this one's a little bit brighter. It's a little bit more juicy while still being very creamy and sweet. Yeah, it's got a real tartness that I think is cutting through some of the sugary sweetness here. And it's so girly. It's so fun. Like, this is a really, really pretty and very fun perfume. And I think that's a perfect way to round out my Valentine's Day perfumes. I think all of these are really fun. They'd be really fun to wear if you're hanging out at home or going on a date. And to be honest, even if you're going on a lady date, so if you were having like a Galentine's Day situation with your mates, then, well, to be honest, I'd wear Guess Seductive Noir myself if I was going out with my mates for a Galentine's Day, because, you know, I think it's just got that little level of sophistication. But I'd also be very tempted by all my Lolita Lempickas. But anyway, whatever you're doing for Valentine's Day, whether it is actually romance-y, or whether it's just you doing something fun, or whether you're just having a night in and you want to smell like a snack, I think all of these are really fun. And yeah, these are the things that I would choose for my Valentine's Day. Okay, thanks guys. Bye.